Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Awakes Network. Nnamdi Kanu mocks Obasanjo, Danjuma, Gowon for demanding restructuring from Buhari. Before we go to the details of the news, if this is your first time visiting my channel, hit on the red subscription button and the notification bell icon because we'll be making uploads so that you'll be updated whenever we make upload. Now the details of the news. Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, has mocked former head of state General Yakubu Gowon, former president Olusegun Obasanjo, and ex-military commander General Theophilus Danjuma over their separate calls for restructuring of the country. General Yakubu Gowon, retired, had at a public event organized by the Leadership Development Foundation on Thursday admitted that the Igbo nation had been marginalized in Nigeria's polity. He said, "I believe that a lot of injustice had been done to the Igbos, and constitutional debate on restructuring must address all imbalance and restore hope and confidence." Also, Obasanjo had condemned the current state of affairs in the country in his speech on Saturday at the Frederick Fasihun First Memorial Lecture. The ex-military leader said, "We estimated that federal government would suppress the Biafran rebellion within 3 months. To make allowance for the unforeseen, we allowed 6 months, but it took us 30 months, 5 times what we allowed for, and what is more, we nearly lost the war. And as a field commander at the end of the war, I can attest that we fought with all Nigerian tribes, including Igbos, against Biafra. If after over 10 years of fighting Boko Haram, the terrorist group is still waxing strong, let nobody out of self-delusion think that a war of self-determination by one or more geopolitical zones of Nigeria with the present disenchantment would be easily suppressed by the rest of what may remain of the country. Some will fight to the last drop of their blood of their group rather than suffer the indignity of slavery, oppression, domination, and atrocious injustice in the land of their birth and the only one that they can call their country. If Boko Haram can get an outside support, any geopolitical zone opting for self-determination may equally get an external support. War may not necessarily go as planned, estimated, and predicted. Everything must therefore be put in place to avoid a war, the end of which no one can precisely predict. There is no assurance that Nigeria can survive a second civil war, but rather we should seek political solution and avoid a destructive civil war. Nnamdi Kanu, however, believed that these were men who rather took arms against the Igbo than restructured the country in 1967. In 1967, Gowon, North and Southwest rejected restructuring, known as Aburi Accord, and banded together in a genocidal war against Biafrans that stood for restructuring, Kanu wrote on Twitter. Today, Southwest, North Central, plus Gowon, Danjuma, Obije are all begging for restructuring. Isn't Elohim wonderful? Biafra is the only option. Those are the words of the wise Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the IPOB. And I will want to say, to add my own opinion to this, because for over a year plus now, even before the general election last year, there was this clamoring for restructuring. And before 2015, when Jonathan was defeated, the national confab that was held, that was supposed to restructure the country, that was what APC promised. But when they got into the office, they rejected restructuring. And now everybody is clamoring for restructuring. And the country is in disarray because nothing is going forward and everybody is just on standstill. We hear the issue of killing every day. And that's why all these men that have once stood against restructuring, just as Nnamdi Kanu have pointed out, this is what the country would have sorted out earlier in 1967 when they had the Abure Accord. But the country decided to go against it. And now they are now clamoring for that same restructuring that was rejected by these same men. So I believe that all hands should be on decks. If that is what will move this country forward and will take us to the next level, let's do it. And I believe it will be for the good of all people, despite some part of the country having phobia and fear that restructuring is going to change a lot of things. I believe it's for good. And I will advocate that let's give it a trial, because with this country we have tried so many things and some have failed. You can never tell which one will work out. So I concur with this man, Nnamdi Kanu, and I don't believe it's too late for Nigeria to pick up and make good of the nation. You can also make your own contribution by going to the comment section and sharing your comment with us. Thank you, and stay blessed with our Waste Network.